Hi Aquarius, this is your weekly tarot card reading from Born Without Boundaries Tarot. It is your weekly astrology predictions from Born Without Boundaries Tarot. This reading and message is for Aquarius sun, moon, and rising sign, and please use the message as it resonates in your life. I'm going to give examples. I'm going to use metaphors, however and wherever they resonate in your life. It is an energy reading. The astrology is for December 29th to December 6th, I believe, but that is only when the energy drops. When the energy reaches you is really up to you and when you're ready to hear the message. So if this comes to you a year afterward, it is at exactly the right time, which is why I don't put dates on my readings. And the tarot and channeled messages are completely intuitive, so they have no timestamp. I am going to integrate the astrology throughout the entire reading, and I encourage you to watch the entire reading because I create the reading in a specific order for a very specific reason. We're going to start with basically the current situation, and I'm going to unravel it for you. If there's any cards that come out in the past, I'll know that whatever happened in the past is directly impacting the present, and then we're going to go into the future, and there's always an extended reading that I hope you guys will join me for. The links to that are down below in the description box, and I'll pin them to the top of the comment section. I ask you, please do not leave any timestamps in the comment section. It kind of bothered me that somebody was doing that on one of my other videos. Believe me, I've been a YouTuber for quite almost 4 years now. I know how to leave timestamps, and I would if I thought it enhanced your reading, but it actually degrades the reading. It just doesn't allow you to understand everything you need to understand to really comprehend the message. And I don't want them there, so if anybody does that, I will be deleting them. And if they persist, I will be blocking them, FYI. So the astrology is actually pretty tense this week. Uranus is in the middle of semi-squares and squares, and the semi-squares are with Jupiter, and Jupiter is of course also squared this week to Venus and Mercury, which by the end of this week will be going into Capricorn. What does that mean? Things are getting particularly stubborn. I don't want you to think that anything's gonna end, but there are gonna be challenges. And when Jupiter is semi-square to Uranus, it's almost like by proxy, there is challenges with what Jupiter is squared to, which means that it's not direct, it's not directed at you, but there will be some challenges when it comes to, could be finance, could be relationships with Venus and Mercury together, could be how you communicate with each other, and because Jupiter is involved, how you want to expand and how you want to grow. I would say this to you guys, to not worry intently, because A, this is only the energy for the week, and B, it's not anything that's going to unravel you, it's just going to irritate you. I created a weekly astrology forecast. I do that every single week on my second YouTube channel, Astrology Motivation. I hope you'll find me over there as well. Go check it out. I'll attach the link above. And basically what it was, the title was frustration, and this week is going to be very frustrating, you know, probably because you're dealing with people you care about or things that you care about a lot, but you may have different opinions about how to execute and get them done. Because you are very strong with execution this week, your traditional ruler Saturn is in probably the best position of all planets right now. It is it's sextile to Mercury and Venus, and it is triangulated or in trine to Mars. So it really is running at high efficiency, being able to communicate, you know, how to get things done. Your pragmatism is very high, very rich, and very impactful and effective this week, which means that if you have a spouse or anybody that you have an intimate relationship with, and by intimate, I mean personal and close, I don't necessarily mean sexual, their viewpoints could be clashing. especially if they are a water sign, because Neptune is pretty compromised this week. The moon also gets into a lot of tangles and exacerbates issues, so emotions are running high. So if you're dealing with somebody who is very emotional, don't expect a lot of rationale from them, you know, and there's a lot of distraction that's coming from them. So it's almost like better to anticipate it, not to make yourself anxious, but to kind of like not blame yourself for why there's this rub or this conflict. You may not be able to draw any conclusions or make any decisions by the end of this week, and into next week it could be pretty tense as well. I would give it the next couple of weeks that there is going to be some functional tension between you and especially your intimate partnerships, but this is nothing that will destroy you. In fact, squares oftentimes make you stronger. So take a deep breath, keep your head on your shoulders, and step by step. That is my advice. Now let's get into the cards. I'm in a different environment. I actually spent a lovely week with my son and his girlfriend for Thanksgiving, so I can't show you the cards like I normally do, but I'm gonna hold them up. Lay a solid foundation, and this is all coming out present time, which is you want to get things done correctly. You want to get them done effectively, efficiently, and you want to kind of create something that's going to last, right? This could also be speaking of a foundation, as in think of beaver with a dam, building a home. I don't know if you're building your own home, moving into your own home, or has something to do with your living space in decorating it. Decorating actually will be very wonderful this week because Saturn, which is your traditional ruler, is trying to Venus. So it's almost like practical, organized beauty will be extremely high and extremely effective this week. So it is a week to dig into that. If you can like use your creative juices to like get practical beauty done, like around the house or with yourself or what, that is going to be something that's really good for you. It's also a good time to lay a solid foundation when it comes to your health or anything that has happened that may have compromised your health. But basically, you are in a working mood. You are in a working mode this week, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's just the people around you will create tension because what you want, let's put it this way, Aquarius, the clarity that you have this week, most people don't. Maybe if you're dealing with Capricorns, they're gonna be clear too. But everybody else, you gotta have patience. It's like anything that you can work on by yourself is going to be really wonderful. Anything that you have to work on but with other people, patience. See the big picture, which is, this is actually a beautiful, helpful hint coming from Spirit right at you. It's saying big picture. Like I said in the beginning of the week, it's only the week. It's only the week, next 2 weeks. The big picture. How is it helping you in the long term? Think long term, especially when it comes to relationships. It's like, it's not always easy, right? I mean, I'm not saying that anything bad is going to happen, but it's not always easy. But long term, keep your focus on the big perspective and the long-term goals. And I think that that's how you're going to really construct something that will last and that will be gratifying for you right now. If you just put things in place or foundations in place for the future and you keep your eye on the long distance prize, there is a sense, or it's also telling me that you may be building a future with somebody or with yourself, something that you are working on that's going to have long-term applications. Could be a college education, could be something that you are creating, could be a relationship, but it's also saying that you are trying to build something long-term that's going to last, you know, that has a wider perspective, a wider reach than just right now. Or instantaneous gratification is not your game right now, and that's good. Be here now is stay focused on the moment to ensure the future. And I love how the universe always asks us to balance out duality. It's almost like eyes on the prize, in the distance, but do it by focusing one step at a time. It's also about beauty. It's all about seeing the beauty in the little things. And I think that this is another piece of advice that you could really use this week, is seeing the beauty in the little things, because big grand gestures might not be what you see right now. In fact, it might be the grand gestures that somebody's making that may be irritating and clashing. But if you just look at the little moments and they're able to focus on the beauty right at hand, this is Libran energy. So it's almost like finding the good in somebody when their life is haywire and kind of going crazy. And that's either, and I feel like that's going to be you to them this week, because it's a rational minded thing to do. Anyway, they might not be so rational. Surrender now is Sagittarius season. So it's current, it's happening. This is what's happening right now. We're not casting out into the future yet. We will get there. It's also about attraction that can be destructive. Now, it's not in reverse. In reverse, it would be really bad. I think upright, it's just like a moth to a flame. Like you're drawn to something. You're drawn to the beauty of something. It could be the beauty of, it doesn't have to be bad. Remember, both of these cards are upright, so it doesn't mean it's toxic. It just means that you're extremely attracted to something, right? It also means that you may be attracted to something, since it's Sagittarius, that's far reaching, that is kind of different than you. It's different, but it's interesting, right? Sagittarius is love to learn new things. Jupiter loves to learn new things, loves it. That's what Jupiter does. It expands by you going after something and doing it. So basically, it's encouraging you to not sit still this week. It's encouraging you to, try it, go for it. Try to reach outside of your comfort zone and make your comfort zone kind of the new things. There will be conflict because Uranus is semi-square to Jupiter. What does that mean? Semi-square is almost stubbornness. It's not a full-on challenge. It's just stubbornness, and that could be your stubbornness. I'm just gonna say, it could be your stubbornness with change and growth, even though you are ruled by Uranus. I think a lot of times you see change and growth for others, but Aquariuses are still fixed signs, so the change and growth isn't necessarily good for you, which brings us full circle, which means that maybe, just maybe, you are part of the problem this week. It's not just everybody else's stubbornness. It could be a little bit about you getting your comfort zone kind of shoved in your face. And hello, wake up. North Node. I mean, Uranus is still conjunct the North Node. There have been a lot of changes. You have made a lot of compromises, and quite honestly, you've been doing extremely well. I will attach the other readings that are Aquarius energy centered to the end of this video. Watch them. You've been just making huge, successful leaps in your life, and there's a lot to be exceptionally proud of yourself for. But ultimately, this is kind of like a little bit of stubbornness when it comes to being able to make some changes or being able to make some adjustments. When it comes to expanding, you are growing. I don't think there's an issue with thinking that you are growing. You want to grow. You want the changes, but the execution, I think, is the rub, and there's a little bit of stubbornness there. And then we have trust in the magic. Love this. Okay, this is really good. This is Aquarian energy. It's about a fresh new start. It's about something that's honest and something that's true and something that's brand new, almost like a baby. It's also kind of a rebirth of the soul. It's also saying trust in the magic, as in trust in the energy. This tells me that fundamentally everything's going to work out really well. And these are just what I would call growing pains. Growing pains. That's kind of what they are. And growing pains are still pains. They're usually pains in the ass. But ultimately, they're just signs of life. And not only life, but expanding life. The fact that your life is kind of becoming new. Oh, this is weird. I'm gonna lay it on the line. This is a little weird. Mostly the moon cards come out in the past. Water controls moon. Moon is water, right? And water deals with our memory. But these all came out in the future, which tells me there's something here regarding emotion, something that's very emotional, something that's almost Psychically, you already know it. You've already felt it. Also, emotions and feelings that are bringing you into the future. So let's get into it. Don't let your past hold you back. You want a future? Don't let your past hold you back. Don't be confined by what you used to be or who you used to be. Allow yourself to see yourself renewed and refreshed and as a new soul and a new person every single day. You are not obligated to be the person you were when you were 5 years old. You are not obligated to be the person you were when you were 25 years old. And you are not obligated to be the person you were when you were 55 years old. You are who you are, and you are beautiful where you are right now. You don't have any obligations to your past self. Your past self, the only purpose of your past self, and right now nothing has come up in the past, which means you're done with your past. It's not that you're ashamed of it. Your past self brought you to where you are today, and that is the magic of this moment, of realizing, wow, look how far I've come, but also, where am I going? And how is that going to change me? And how do I allow myself to change, right? I think a lot of times what we'll do, your dreams need a practical plan. So you're definitely working on the functionality of something. You're manifesting something from concept into reality. And that's actually really beautiful energy, but it can be very frustrating energy because it's hard to move around 3D matter. You know, it is. It requires hard work and tenacity. So that shouldn't be a problem for you. I don't think you have a problem with hard work and tenacity at all. For God's sake, your traditional ruler is Saturn. You're gonna be good. Show the world the real you. Full moon in Aquarius. What? I mean, this is beautiful. This is all coming out in the future, right? It's trying to say, like, there's something that's going to be debuting, maybe something that you have been working hard on between Aquarius and Taurus season coming up in the next year. This is what you're capable of, which I think could be what you're a little bit scared of. You know, this energy of who I really am instead of who I felt I had to be to fit in, number one. And two, I'm going to show the world something that I really love. You know, something that I've really kept close to my heart and maybe haven't wanted to share. But there is a sense of stepping out of your comfort zone. You're going to be sharing something pretty important and pretty lucrative because Taurus energy is here. Nothing will come of this situation. This is weird. Void of course. I don't know what that means, but we're gonna figure that out because we have 4 more cards. Your commitment is being tested. Okay, so your commitment is being tested. Nothing will come of this situation. What'd I say? This stress right now is not long-term stress. This stress right now is just, you know, how much do you want it? How much do you fucking want it? And that has to do with Saturn and Saturn's permanent and perpetual influence over your life. How much do you want it? You got to work for it. Did you work hard enough for it? If you did, you deserve it. You have a wonderful work ethic because of Saturn's value in your total overall energy. So yeah, this is a sense of your commitment is being tested. It could be your commitment to your current relationship. It could be your commitment toward your career, whatever, however it resonates for you. But it's saying, yeah, your commitment is currently being tested, but guess what? Nothing's going to come from it except strength for you, strength and determination. You are good enough. So could part of the problem be that you deep inside, and I know how stubborn you can be, it's a fixed sign thing, but deep inside, when you're all by yourself, do you really feel good enough? Because this is Virgo energy, and I talked about healing early on in the reading, which is why I tell you guys, watch the whole reading. They all start circling back to each other. This is about healing who you are and how you feel about yourself. And this is also telling me that there's a newness and a freshness about who you are and who you're allowing yourself to be, right? You are good enough for all of these, and your dreams need a practical plan. This is a sense of that could be what may be restricting your progress, is that sense of insecurity or I don't really deserve this. So should, and this is what happens, especially in the spiritual community, when we have challenges, like there's squares in the astrology or semi-squares or especially oppositions. in our lives or in our natal charts, what we tend to do is say, oh, it's destiny. It's not meant for me. It's not meant for me. It's not meant for me if things get rough. It's not meant for me if things are challenging. Well, then that means that no success and no degree of happiness is ever going to be yours because life is challenging. It's not the universe trying to tell you something isn't meant for you. It's just the universe testing you to strengthen you so that you will be ready to hold all the beautiful blessings that you're journeying toward. It's almost like the universe wants you to have everything, but you have to be strong enough to hold it. So it's doing everything that it needs to do right now, this week, to make sure that you are healthy and strong by the time you arrive. So it's not, please don't let the current energy discourage you or come across in your mind as, oh, I guess it's just not meant to be. It fucking is meant to be, if only because it matters to you. If it's put in your heart, trust your heart. Sometimes Aquariuses struggle very much with trusting their heart. But remember, your heart isn't your emotions. Your heart is your God space. And no matter what, air sign, earth sign, water sign, fire sign, we all have a God space. Our heart is the megaphone of God in our bodies. It's where God speaks to us. So it's not your emotion. It is your divine megaphone. So when I say follow your heart, it's got nothing to do with your feelings getting hurt or your feelings being satisfied. It's got nothing to do with pleasure. It's got to do with purpose. And if you feel it if you know it in your heart, then trust it and know that you deserve it. Hold your vision. Word, I don't see through these cards. A personal issue reaches resolution, Cancerian energy. This has got to do with family. This has got to do with close people that are really close to you, intimate partnerships. This has got to do with maybe a Cancerian. This has got to do with hold your vision. A personal issue reaches resolution. So if there's stress in your life right now, and Aquariuses are very concerned about their family, there's a sense of stick to it, stick with it. Let's get into the details. I'm gonna head over to the extended because this video is getting long, and people on YouTube tend to have the attention span of 2-year-olds. So let's go to the extended. I hope that you'll join me. We've got a card on the table. Let's see what it is. I'll see you there.